GM everyone, welcome back to another episode of Product Review. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at Liminal.money. It is a new protocol, somewhat new, on Hyperliquid that is essentially going to help you earn yield in a delta neutral way, leveraging on all the liquidities as well as the DeFi opportunities on Hyperliquid. And you can optimize all of that to the fullest potential with just a couple of clicks. So let's jump right into it. Essentially, what Liminal.money doing is right now mostly basis trade, but I'm assuming the way that they're branding themselves and the languages that they're using on the website, they're going to be curating more strategies in the future. As you can see here, they're comparing their last 30-day APYs with all of the other like vanilla APYs, and you can see that they wanted to brand themselves as being 100% delta neutral. So a lot of their strategies, I'm assuming, is not really going to be directional, nor will they be taking like leverage farmings or something like that. I'm assuming it's all just going to be mostly from basis trade. So Liminal is branding themselves as 100% delta neutral. A lot of these strategies right now are just mostly basis trade, but from their languages and the way that they're branding themselves, I'm sure they will increase and curate other strategies in the future, so long as that's market neutral. And you can see here from one of their languages, from one of their copies, that they're mostly optimizing funding rates and doing basis trade to capture all the liquidities on Hyperliquid and just pretty much package that in an easy way and then take a fee on top of that. On their docs, you can read a bit more about how everything works, how their auto rebalancing works, their liquidation risk management, and pretty much just a much more detailed breakdown on their lockups, their fees, and all that. So here are the step-by-step process. You can deposit USDC into Liminal, and then they would open a long position in spot market and a short position in equivalent side in perpetual futures market. Now, both spot and perps, you can do that on Hyperliquid core DEX itself. On point number 6 here, you can also see that the yield is auto-compounding. So the number that you're seeing being marketed is most likely going to be the number that's post auto compound. They have found pretty decent success. As you can see, they've only launched for the past 30 days, since April 5th. So 40 days or so, and the TVL jumped at every single opportunity when the cap was being raised. So it jumped to like 300K, 500K, 1 mil, 5 mil, and then right now it sits at around 20 mil. They're averaging around, let's see here, so you can actually see some of their back testing from the past 3 months, and the average APY is 11.8, but for the past 30 days it's been quite high at 18.46, and thus far they have generated 75K for the protocol PNL. Not bad at all. They're charging 10% performance fee, so if the strategy generates yield, they will take a 10% share. If you break even or even underperforms, there is no fee being charged at all. So there's some sort of like high watermark there. There are no fees at all for deposits or withdrawals, but there might be some basic gas fees and so on. The core infrastructure, if you want to read a bit more, as you can see here, it's pretty much what I've said earlier. They're just using the Hypercore as well as like the spot and perp markets on Hyperliquid, and essentially just packaging all the funding rate and basis trade strategy for you. I think what's interesting here is to see how eventually folks would be able to create their own perps market with HIP3 and how that update would impact DeFi protocols such as Liminal into creating new strategies, or even, let's say, utilizing a lot of the liquidities when Hyper EVM and Hypercore are much more like interchangeable in terms of like their liquidities and all of that. I think that's going to create a whole new set of design space for DeFi strategies. And right now we're pretty much, I think what's interesting is that how HIP3 and basically the ability of create new perps market would affect DeFi protocols like Liminal in curating new types of on-chain strategies. That's not even considering all the other future updates and potentially even more like interchangeable liquidity and composability between Hyper EVM and the Hypercore and the DEX itself. So I think there's this would open up like a whole new design space that is going to be a lot more capital efficient than, let's say, if you're doing like similar strategies on EVM mainnet for ETH or for Solana, then you would have to take into account like different smart contract risks, because there are a lot of different perp dexes, a lot of different vault managers. And I think what Hyperliquid is going to be able to win here, if they continue to become the home for perp and spot permissionless trading, is that they will be the most capital efficient chain for funds and for strategy curators. So yeah, that will be interesting to watch. And that's pretty much it. Until next time.